I have another review comparison to do. A buddy of mine asked me about a couple of NIV Bibles and what I thought of them. So I'm going to be comparing the R.L. Allan NIV1 with the Premier Collection NIV Thinline. So this is really cool. I have spoken about how much I like the Thinline, and it's time to put it up against some big boy competition. Okay, so these are the really, they're not super fair comparisons, but if you're looking into buying a premium NIV, then these are going to be two of your options. Now, a far superior option is going to be the Quintel. It's lights out better than both of these. And there are probably a couple other options, but these are kind of on a level playing field aside from the price point. So the NIV Premier Collection from Zondervan, it's like 65, 70 bucks. Really, really affordable. Almost, you can't afford not to get one while they're this price. But I want to show you how it compares to the actual NIV1. So, all right, so let's look at this just from an exterior point. You have basically it's just painted on the spine. It's still pretty attractive, but you have the silver. It's really cool. I love that all the NIVs are silver. You have the silver trim, silver gilt line on the interior, the blue under silver art gilding. You have the calfskin liner. It's really nicely done with the silver printing on the inside. The three different colored blue ribbons. I like that they have the different shades of blue there with the ribbons. All right, so it's obvious just from the video that this goat skin on the cover is a little bit inferior to a Highland goat skin, or the goat skins that Youngblood uses in their bindings. But I also want to point out that this is bound by Ludlow, and the goat skin that they use, I think, is also inferior to Highland and the Youngblood goat skins. So I would say that if Highland goat skin is like grade A, this might be grade C, and this might be grade D. So, really, you're looking at both of these are kind of inferior in my opinion. Okay, so just take that with a grain of salt. The spine is a little more attractive on the NIV1. I love Allan's simplicity. I'm not a huge fan of tooled ribs, but at least these are actually tooled and not painted on. So, the Premier Collection has the sewn perimeter, yet the Allan does not, but it has more yap. So I do like that the NIV1 has a little bit more yap. Not much, but it has a little bit more yap. And the corner work is more professionally done. Ludlow does an excellent job on their bindings, their corner work, the pleating. It looks great. I just wish they used a better goat skin. All right, so when we look at the interior, the Thinline has a really nice dark printing. It's like an 11-point font. It's on a 36 GSM paper, but so is the NIV1. NIV1's on 36 GSM paper as well. So it's going to be kind of an apples to apples comparison there. Now, the print size on the NIV1 is going to be a lot smaller because you have references, but it reads really well, even though it's a lot smaller. This text size is really big, this 11-point text size, but the comfort print type it almost looks like it's in bold. Everything's in bold. So it almost looks a little more cluttered, even with it large, than this NIV1 looks to read. But you can definitely read this from afar, where this one you have to have it, within a closer range to you. So if you're reading from a podium, this NIV Premier Collection might be better for you because it's just a bigger text, it's a bolder text, and there's no references here. You do have some scriptural notes, One issue is that neither one is line matched. There are at points that it shows some line where it's almost accidental line matching, but neither one of these is actually line matched. Okay, so this one has references. This one doesn't. You see, you have a little different shading of paper. This is like a creamier, where this is a whiter paper. Okay, so what do I prefer? It just depends on the use. It depends on the use for me. As far as attractiveness, I kind of like the Premier Collection a little bit better, and that's mainly because it's like super floppy. I can fold it around on itself and not have any problem with it, and I can buy about 2 of these for the price of 1 of these. So it's just a matter of, affordability. Really, anybody can afford one of these. If you're used to buying 1 or 2 Bibles a year to replace them as you're wearing them out, you're going to get more use out of a Premier Collection. The Allan is really nice. They use much nicer ribbons. You have 3 Beresford ribbons. You have the white head and tail bands. It does have the interior gilt line, gold all the way around, and it's a red under gold, where this is a blue under silver. But it's something to think about. So, but one thing in the back of the NIV1, you'll have a. Let me turn the back of this other one too, so you can see the comparison. Sorry. Okay, so there's not much back here because it's so thin. You do have the End of Revelation. You do have a table of weights and measures and like 1 or 2 sheets of paper. That's it, and it's over. And you have your ISBN stamped in on the back cover. But in the back of the NIV1, you have a concordance. You have some lined paper. I get to it. There's your maps. You have lined paper here, like a good bit of lined paper. You see how much lined paper you have? A bunch. So you're paying for that extra. You're paying a lot for that extra, those extra features in the NIV1. So just depending on what you're using it for. Now, it wouldn't take up a lot of space. You see how thin this thing is for Zondervan to add a lined paper section, and even a small little 10-page concordance to hit a lot of the major, or even a topical concordance to hit some major things. It would add a lot to this Premier Collection NIV, and it wouldn't add much thickness. It wouldn't add, you probably could do it all within one 48-page signature or whatever. So that would be doable. So it really depends on what you're using them for, what type of, if you're preaching from it, then you probably won't need a concordance because you're just going to be reading out of the text and you'll have your notes beside it. The Premier Collection is probably going to be better if you pick it up to hold it. It's going to have it's going to hold a little bit better. It's going to hold in your wrap around your hand a little bit better, and it's got a bigger text. So if you're preaching from it, this might be your better bet. Now, if you're going to do some personal study and want it in your lap, and you got references, you've got a concordance, all that stuff in the NIV1. So it really just depends on your usage. But again, the price point is just crazy different. Like this is like $75, and I think you can get one of these used, $130, new, even more than that. So anyway, that's about all I've got for you guys on this comparison. Let me know what you think. If you would prefer the NIV1, or if you wanted to give the Premier Collection NIV Thinline a shot. Let me know what you think of what's more important to you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check down here and subscribe if you like Bible reviews, comparisons, tutorials, all that stuff. So anyway, thanks for watching. God bless.